I was imagining Emma Thompson's voice. And although I never dreamed that that would actually happen.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fine, and you?
Good, well, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for your time. A pleasure to talk to you and to talk about this movie. I really liked it, and I thought it was a really, really good idea. And so I want to ask, I think everybody already asked that, but the inspiration for the script.
Well, it was an idea I had quite a long time ago, a few years ago. It was just the idea of the opening scene of this woman who's done this thing that she's always thought she wanted to do and has finally plucked up the courage to do it. And now she's waiting for him to arrive. And she's very nervous and kind of terrified now that it's actually happening. And it was just a setup that really interested me, but I never really got around to exploring it. I had other work and so on. And then in January 2020, I just wanted to know what happened in the story. I wanted to know what happened to these two people that I was interested in this beginning. And so I thought, well, I'll just sit down and write it and see what happens in this draft. And so as I began to write it, I just really began to enjoy their dialogue, and I felt ideas opening up as I wrote, and that seemed to happen quite organically. So there are areas that I've always been interested in, like, this idea that we should be somehow ashamed of the things that bring us pleasure or guilty about seeking our own pleasure. And also I've really always been interested in this world of that there are sex workers that work in countries as well where, for example, it's completely legal and it has this kind of vocational aspect to it. And what happens when you have somebody who really wants to help you find your pleasure and you're confronted with that, having always denied yourself. And I just thought that was a very rich circumstance to write about.
Yes, it was. And also, I think like the way that you wrote, and it's kind of show that, I think the dialogue helped a lot on for both actors act. So that's why I think it's amazing. So another thing that I wanna ask you, you said that you wrote that before was before the pandemic, correct?
Yes.
It looks like that you wrote like in the end of 2020 to fit on this new reality that we are in.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I wrote it. I did the first draft before any of this happened, just before. And the thing about what I try to write, if I'm writing something that is on spec, that hasn't been briefed or commissioned or paid for, I think if I can keep it nice and small and cheap, then it's more likely to get made. And, my first jobs writing were in TV, and that's always in British TV anyway, about saving money. The budget's tight. Can we make this cheaper? Do we have to have this many extras? Does this have to be a dinner scene? Could we move it to lunch? Because then we can keep the daylight. It's constantly in your mind. How can I bring the cost of this down, but keep the story present and exciting and moving and the characters interesting and entertaining? And so I just tend to write like that, in a small, tight way that would be not too expensive to make, because I think that increases my chances of getting things made. So it just so happened that when COVID came and the British government brought in some protocols that allowed some productions to start working again, people were looking for these sort of small contained pieces. So I just had one ready to go. So and so it got made. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened to it,
Yeah, that's amazing. Also, the Nancy, the characters that Emma Thompson plays, is very, like, we don't see very often on series, on movies, it's kind of different. But what was that like? I know it's Emma Thompson, but what was very difficult to find the perfect actress to play Nancy?
No, because Emma was the perfect actress, because while I was writing it sort of on my own in my house, I was imagining Emma Thompson's voice. And although I never dreamed that that would actually happen, I was enjoying hearing her deliver lines as I was writing them. And then the more I enjoyed hearing that, the more I enjoyed writing the character. And I just always felt, that she has that way of delivering a line, and, it can be funny and moving and all at the same time. And so, I was just very, very lucky that I was able to send it to her and that she came back positively. The absolute dream come true. I just really didn't think it would actually happen.
Oh my God, it's amazing. And Daryl, oh my God, he's amazing too. And I think it's the chemistry between both of them is something that you have it, it's sometimes you cannot build this type of chemistry that they have on screen. What was about him and his previous work that got your attention and Sophie's attention to pick him?
Well, I was very much left the casting, the absolute sort of final casting of Leo to Emma and Sophie, because for the reasons that you say, I thought that the chemistry was the absolutely most important thing. And I was involved with making initial lists, and they were very international lists. There was a very clear sense that the character Leo was more about an attitude rather than a particular look or anything like that. So we were drawing up long lists, and all of these people were brilliant actors. So we knew that there was the acting would be good, and then it was more just about the general sensibility of the actor and how he would respond to the script and whether he enjoyed the script, and then whether he had that chemistry with Emma. So that was very much something that I felt they needed to handle, because although I saw the tape and was like, yeah, this is great, he'd be great. The main thing was that there was that chemistry with Emma. Because as you say, you can't write that, or you can't buy it. It's just there or it isn't. And they had to test that and find that. And I think by all accounts, they did pretty quickly.
Yeah. And like working with Sophie, how was like this dynamic? Because you have the script and sometimes you have to adapt some stuff. How was like this dynamic, like work with her?
It was great to work with Sophie. I mean, she straight away was just giving me the best notes I've ever had, really, and we worked closely together, and because the speed with which it was all happening, there was quite a lot of quick back and forth all the time, all day, and making edits and suggestions and so on all the time, because we had to get the script locked, because we all wanted a locked script. It wasn't a script that was going to be any improvisation around, so we needed to get that absolutely set in a way that we were all very happy with before the shooting started. So that all happened quite rapidly, but it was fantastic working with Sophie. I just felt she so understood what the film was about, and that she was just going to make something brilliant. So I was very happy once we locked the script to just hand it over to her and the actors, and I almost just felt very relaxed about it. And, really excited to see what was going to come out of their filmmaking.
Amazing. And for us to wrap it up, what did you learn about yourself writing this script, being this project?
I think what I really learned and what I've taken away is that it is always worth setting some time aside to just write something you want to write. I've been a writer for a long time. I've also been a performer. I've written lots of different things, different formats. People are not always going to pay attention to you or pay you or commission the thing you want to write just in the way that you describe it. Sometimes you just have to sit down and just write something to completely please yourself. And, I'm not saying it's going to work every time, but I think this has been a real lesson for me in taking care to make time for my own creativity and things that I enjoy, and not just always chasing work from other people.
Amazing. Katy, a pleasure to meet you, to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time and a lot of success.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. If you like this video, don't forget to comment, to like, and subscribe to our channel right here.